Most men think attracting women is about saying the right words, chasing harder, or proving their value. But the truth is exactly the opposite. High-value men don't attract women because of what they do. They attract them because of what they refuse to tolerate. They refuse to beg for attention, accept disrespect, or sacrifice their self-respect for anyone's approval. These simple decisions make them stand out in a world where so many people settle for less than they deserve. In this video, you'll discover the 6 things high-value men never accept and why refusing them naturally builds confidence, respect, and genuine attraction. Stay until the end, because the final lesson is the one that changes everything. Comment, I choose strength. Number 1. Refuse to beg for attention. Attention is never something you should have to earn by giving away your self-respect. The moment you start chasing someone's approval, you slowly hand over control of your emotions without even noticing it. You begin checking your phone more than you should, reading into short replies, wondering if you said the wrong thing, and changing your behavior just to keep someone interested. That is where confidence begins to disappear. A high-value man refuses to live like this because he understands that genuine interest never needs constant convincing. If she enjoys spending time with you, it will show through consistent actions, not confusing signals that leave you questioning your worth every day. Your job is not to persuade someone to appreciate you. Your job is to become a man whose time, attention, and energy have real value. That means building a life that does not stop moving because one person becomes distant. Go to the gym when you said you would. Keep learning new skills. Focus on your work. Spend time with people who respect you. Keep your promises to yourself, even when nobody is watching. These simple habits slowly rebuild the confidence that begging for attention destroys. The more your life becomes filled with purpose, the less room there is for unnecessary anxiety. You stop waiting for messages because your day already has direction. You stop trying to impress because you are busy improving. You stop explaining yourself because your actions speak louder than long conversations ever could. This change does not happen overnight, but it begins the moment you decide that your peace matters more than someone else's inconsistent attention. That decision changes the way you carry yourself. You speak with more confidence, you make decisions without fear, and you stop accepting situations that constantly leave you uncertain. Ironically, people often become more interested when they see that your happiness is not dependent on their approval, but that should never become your goal. The real victory is waking up every morning knowing that your confidence comes from your character, your discipline, and your standards instead of another person's opinion. That is the kind of strength nobody can take away from you because it is built from within and reinforced every single day through your choices. Number 2. Refuse to accept mixed signals. Confusion is not a foundation for a healthy relationship. When someone's words and actions constantly point in different directions, you do not need to become a detective trying to solve the mystery. You need to pay attention to what is consistently happening. A high-value man refuses to spend months hoping that uncertainty will somehow turn into clarity. If she is interested, there will be effort. If she values your presence, there will be consistency. That does not mean every day is perfect or that people never get busy, but genuine interest does not leave you trapped in endless guessing. Too many men ignore their own instincts because they are afraid of losing someone. They keep making excuses, lowering their standards, and accepting situations that slowly drain their confidence. Every time you accept treatment that goes against your values, you teach yourself that your boundaries are optional. That habit follows you into every area of life. Soon you hesitate to speak up at work, you tolerate disrespect from friends, and you settle for less than you truly deserve Because you become comfortable with uncertainty. A high-value man breaks that cycle by respecting his own standards first. He asks himself a simple question: does this relationship bring peace, trust, and mutual effort, or does it bring constant doubt and emotional exhaustion? If the answer is the second one, he does not waste years hoping another person will suddenly become different. He accepts reality instead of chasing fantasy. That choice takes courage, because walking away from uncertainty often feels harder than staying in it. But short-term discomfort creates long-term freedom. Every time you choose self-respect over confusion, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that your standards are real and not just words. Over time, your entire life begins to change because you no longer make decisions based on fear of being alone. You make decisions based on what aligns with your values, your goals, and the future you want to build. That mindset attracts healthier relationships because you stop rewarding inconsistency with endless patience. Instead, you reward honesty, effort, respect, and stability. The greatest lesson is that peace should never be rare in your life. When you protect your standards, you protect your future. Your confidence grows stronger, and you become the kind of man who is respected because he respects himself first. Number 3. Refuse to explain your worth. A high-value man never spends his time trying to convince someone that he deserves respect, because real value is demonstrated through consistent actions, not long speeches. The moment you begin explaining why someone should appreciate you, you quietly place your confidence in their hands instead of your own. You start listing everything you have done, every sacrifice you have made, every effort you have given, hoping they finally recognize what is standing in front of them. If someone repeatedly overlooks your effort, another explanation rarely changes anything. Instead of wasting energy trying to change another person's perception, direct that energy toward becoming stronger in every part of your life. Build your career with purpose. Improve your health with discipline. Keep your promises even when nobody is watching. Learn new skills. Develop patience. Become dependable. These qualities speak long before your words ever do. When your character becomes your greatest introduction, you stop seeking permission to believe in yourself. If she constantly questions your value, compares you to others, or only notices you when you are proving yourself, take that as information instead of a challenge. Do not argue. Do not defend yourself. Do not enter endless conversations trying to earn a level of respect that should already exist. Calmly observe what is happening and make decisions based on actions instead of hopeful expectations. This protects your peace and keeps your judgment clear. Every relationship should add stability to your life, not constant pressure to perform. The strongest response to being underestimated is not anger or endless debate. It is continuing your path without allowing another person's opinion to define your future. As you grow, your confidence becomes quieter. You no longer need recognition to stay motivated because your standards come from within. You stop measuring your progress by compliments and begin measuring it by discipline, integrity, and consistency. That change transforms every area of your life because your identity is no longer built on outside approval. It is built on the promises you keep to yourself, the habits you repeat every day, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are, even when someone else fails to recognize it. If you're ready to stop making the same painful mistakes and finally build unshakable confidence, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men is linked in the comments, and it's now also available as an audiobook, so you can absorb these timeless principles while taking a walk, jogging, driving, or training at the gym, giving you lifetime access to knowledge you'll return to again and again. And in just a few days, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint course launches after countless hours of work from me and the Stoic Tribe team to create the most complete step-by-step transformation program we've ever built, helping you save years of confusion, develop powerful self-respect, master your emotions, set healthy boundaries, and know exactly what to do in every situation to completely transform your life. Comment Blueprint now to get early access and be among the first to experience it. Number 4. Refuse to ignore. Disrespect. Self-respect is not something you talk about occasionally. It is something you protect every single day through your actions. Every time you excuse repeated disrespect because you are afraid of losing someone, you slowly teach yourself that your own boundaries are negotiable. That lesson becomes dangerous because it reaches far beyond one relationship. Soon you begin accepting treatment from friends, family, co-workers, and strangers that you would have never accepted before. A high-value man understands that respect begins with the standards he is willing to uphold, even when doing so is uncomfortable. If she regularly dismisses your opinions, mocks your goals, constantly breaks promises, or only gives attention when it suits her, do not rush to argue or seek revenge. Stay calm. Observe the pattern instead of isolated moments. Patterns reveal character far more clearly than excuses ever will. Calmness allows you to think clearly, while emotional reactions often lead to decisions you later regret. Your silence, your consistency, and your willingness to step away from unhealthy situations demonstrate more strength than endless conflict. Protecting your dignity is never an overreaction. It is a decision that shapes your future. Every boundary you enforce reminds you that your time, energy, and peace have value. It also changes how other people interact with you because they recognize that you are not willing to compromise your principles simply to avoid discomfort. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying relationships that repeatedly drain your confidence. Instead of spending your energy trying to fix situations that remain unhealthy, invest that energy in becoming stronger physically, mentally, financially, and emotionally. Build a life that reflects your values rather than your fears. As your standards rise, the quality of the people around you often rises as well, because you naturally make room for relationships built on honesty, mutual respect, and consistency. The greatest reward is not proving someone wrong. The greatest reward is creating a life where your peace is protected, your confidence grows through discipline, and your self-respect remains something no one can take away because you refuse to surrender it for temporary attention or acceptance. Number 5. Refuse to depend on validation. One of the biggest changes in a man's life begins the moment he stops looking for other people to decide how valuable he is. The habit often starts quietly. You notice yourself waiting for compliments, hoping someone appreciates your effort, or wondering whether you are enough because one person's attention has changed. Before long, your mood rises and falls depending on how someone responds to you. That is a dangerous place to live because it gives another person control over your peace. A high-value man refuses to build his confidence on something he cannot control. He understands that approval comes and goes, opinions change, and people often see the world through their own experiences rather than through the truth of who he is. If she becomes distant or her attention changes, he does not allow that single event to define his identity. Instead, he asks himself a better question. Am I becoming the man I promised myself I would become? That question changes everything because it shifts the focus away from chasing approval and toward building character. Every day becomes an opportunity to improve rather than a search for reassurance. You begin keeping small promises to yourself. You wake up when you plan to. You finish difficult tasks even when motivation disappears. You train your body because strength requires consistency. You read, learn, and improve your skills because your future deserves preparation. You become financially responsible because freedom is built through wise decisions. None of these habits depend on applause. They depend on discipline. Over time, something remarkable happens. Your confidence becomes steady instead of fragile. It no longer rises because someone praises you or falls because someone overlooks you. It becomes rooted in the evidence you create through your daily actions. That quiet confidence changes the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the way you make decisions. You stop trying to impress everyone because you are too busy becoming someone you genuinely respect. You also become far better at recognizing healthy relationships because you no longer confuse attention with genuine care. Instead of asking whether someone approves of you, you begin asking whether the relationship is built on mutual respect, honesty, consistency, and shared values. That simple shift protects your time, your energy, and your peace. It helps you walk away from situations that constantly leave you doubting yourself, not because you are bitter, but because you understand your worth does not need to be negotiated. Life becomes calmer when your confidence comes from within. You stop comparing yourself to others because your only competition is the man you were yesterday. You stop seeking constant reassurance because your actions already provide the proof you need. You stop allowing temporary opinions to shape permanent beliefs about yourself. The greatest freedom is realizing that your value exists before anyone recognizes it, and the strongest man in the room is often the one who no longer needs the room to confirm his worth. When you build your life on discipline, integrity, purpose, and self-respect, you become resilient through every challenge because your foundation is no longer built on changing opinions, but on unshakable character that you strengthen one decision at a time. Number 6. Refuse to lose your purpose. The biggest mistake a man can make is allowing one person to become the center of his entire world. The moment your schedule, your goals, your habits, and your peace begin to revolve around someone else's choices, you slowly drift away from the man you are capable of becoming. A high-value man never allows that to happen because he understands that purpose must always come before comfort. Relationships can add joy to your life, but they should never replace your mission. If she enters your life, she should walk beside a man who already knows where he is going, not a man who abandons his direction the moment he becomes emotionally attached. This is where so many men quietly lose themselves. They stop training because they want to spend every free moment with her. They stop pursuing their ambitions because their attention is consumed by conversations, uncertainty, and waiting for the next message. They slowly disconnect from friends, neglect their health, ignore opportunities, and postpone dreams that once gave them energy. Then one day, they realize they no longer recognize the person they have become. Their confidence fades because it was built on another person's presence instead of their own discipline. That is why your purpose must remain your highest priority, regardless of who enters or leaves your life. Wake up with intention. Build your body because strength requires commitment. Build your finances because freedom creates choices. Build your knowledge because wisdom protects you from poor decisions. Build your character because that is the one investment that never loses value. Every day you choose progress over distraction, you strengthen your identity. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes another brick in the foundation of your confidence. If she supports your growth, appreciate it. If she distracts you from becoming the man you are trying to become, pay attention to what that reveals. A healthy relationship encourages growth instead of demanding that you abandon it. Never sacrifice your future simply to keep someone comfortable in the present. Short-term approval is never worth long-term regret. There will always be people who misunderstand your discipline, question your priorities, or expect you to lower your standards to make them happy. Stay calm and continue moving forward. You do not need to argue with them. You do not need to seek permission to pursue the life you want. Let your actions speak through consistency. Let your progress answer every doubt. The strongest confidence is built quietly over months and years through repeated choices that nobody applauds in the beginning. As your purpose becomes clearer, something remarkable happens. You become less distracted by temporary situations because your attention is fixed on something greater. You stop making emotional decisions that pull you away from your future. You stop measuring success by whether someone stays in your life and begin measuring it by whether you are becoming a stronger, wiser, healthier, and more disciplined man than you were yesterday. That mindset changes every part of your life. It changes how you approach relationships, your career, your health, your friendships, and every challenge that appears. You no longer panic when circumstances change because your direction remains the same. Your peace no longer depends on another person's choices because your purpose gives you stability every single day. The greatest reward is not proving your value to someone else. The greatest reward is becoming a man who respects himself so deeply that he never abandons his mission for temporary attention, temporary comfort, or temporary emotions. When your purpose leads your life, confidence follows naturally. Respect grows through your actions, and the future becomes something you build with intention instead of something you wait for. That is the kind of life no circumstance can easily shake, because it is built on discipline, patience, responsibility, and the daily decision to become the strongest version of yourself. If you're ready to become the man who leads with strength instead of emotion, comment Blueprint. Grab the Stoic relationship. Blueprint ebook for men linked in the comments. Now also available as an audiobook so you can transform your mindset while taking a walk, jogging, driving, or training. And like this video and subscribe to help more men discover wisdom that too often gets overlooked, saving themselves years of confusion, regret, and unnecessary pain. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint course is launching in just a few days after countless hours of work from me and the Stoic Tribe team, built from more than 2,000 years of timeless principles that have stood the test of time and transformed into a practical, step-by-step system that will help you build unshakable confidence, master your emotions, create stronger relationships, and completely transform your life with knowledge you'll always have access to and can apply for years to come.